Hello, people. Welcome to Betty's Closet. Um, I'm looking. I should be looking this way, but I'm always looking the other way. Okay, so I'm going to do a review of what you call it, Top Boy and stuff like that. So, Top Boy. The problem with Top Boy. Top Boy is written by a white man. Um, why are white men so comfortable in writing black people's stories, um, and then getting accolades by other white people for telling the black experience? So, like, now I watched Top Boy. Now, I do like Top Boy, but I think it's indicative of how white people see the black experience and how comfortable that they are in telling our story, yeah, and getting accolades for it. Now, black people need to tell their own story, yeah, and I would applaud anyone who watches my channel, any black person that's interested in filmmaking, um, to go out there and tell the black experience in the UK or the Americas or wherever you may be. Um, so I just want to so I found this little comment on Reddit. Um, Let me see. I just read it. Yes. So this is from a black person. Now, quite a few of the people I know who like Top Boy are white. The white people I know that really rate Top Boy, they're white. I've not come across any black people that rate Top Boy. It's just white folk that say how great it is. My first criticism of Top Boy is I noticed that the black people they never experience any racism. Yeah, when white people write black people's experience, I noticed, in the current time, I'm not talking about the slavery stories, the black people never seem to experience any racism at all. Do you know what I mean? They just seem to be like, it's just fucking weird. Yeah, even though in the UK they are still racist murders, they are still black people getting beat up for being black by white supremacists, and like mixed race people getting murdered for being of a mixed with African, like that little Kenyan mixed race Kenyan English boy. What was his name? There was Logan. He got killed. Then there was other one. I can't remember them, and I can't remember what the boy's name is. But I'll put a link to all the stories. And then obviously you got the Stephen Lawrence, and then you got the Anthony Walker up in Liverpool. There's still, and then recently there was that black boy that lost his finger. He got beat up by white people in Wales. Do you know what I mean? There's still enough racist murders in the UK, at the hands of racist white folk. But when these white people write the stories of black people, they never include that. They never include their racist white folk. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of my main problems with white people telling black people stories. The white people always portray white people to be really nice to black people. Do you know what I mean? They never talk about the racist white folk. So that's one of my big problems with it. Another thing is the fact that if a white person is telling black people's story and getting funding for it, that means that the black people are not getting funding to write their own stories. And that is called racism. Yes? We've had enough of the minstrel shows, yeah, where the minstrel shows were white people putting all their black makeup on and portraying themselves as black and doing racial black caricatures. Yeah, so it hasn't really changed, has it? Now the only difference is now they get white people tell black people stories and they get black people to act in the stories. Yeah. Now one of the things that Ashley Walters said, big up to Ashley Walters. Now this is not a criticism of the actors. I think Ashley Walters is a very good actor. I think Kanu, the rapper, both of them are musicians, aren't they? Kanu and Ashley Waters. So Kanu's, I think his name is Kanan. And I know for someone who starts complaining he's not called Kanu, well, I'm Nigerian. That word is called Kanu. I think they call it Kanu, but we call it Kanu because it's actually a name of a city in Nigeria. Yeah. But anyway, both of them are musicians turned actors. I think they do both hats. No criticisms of them. I understand that as a black person, a black British person, you want to work. Fair enough. Yeah. But even Ashley Walters has said this himself that he would prefer. He said Ashley Walters, who plays is it Duchesne, I think that's how they call it, in Top Boy, has said he would prefer a black writer for the show. Walters has said that he understands that the people Benton so Benton consulted for the script, but would prefer a black person to tell black people's stories. That says it all. Even that guy who's the actor has said it, and it's true. Because it's another covert way, another covert racist way white people don't employ black people. That's how, you know what I mean? They've given black people jobs in the movie to portray black people, but they've not. Where are the black people that are writing the stories? Do you know what I mean? So black people we can't tell our own stories, and then they start giving all these freaking accolades to white people. Now there's another film I watched by another white woman telling a black story, and once again it's called Honey Trap, and once again this black person doesn't encounter any racism in freaking London. Yeah, it's just an absolute joke, honestly. So basically, I'm going to read this Reddit comment about it. So basically, saying that this guy Rowan Benett, it basically says, why did Rowan Benett even write Top Boy? Yeah. Then it says this guy went to King's College and grew up in Ireland. So he grew up in Northern Ireland and he's middle class. Why did he write it? And it says, what the F does he know about being a black youth growing up in East End block? Yeah, well, that's the question. If you grew up in London, if you grew up in Ireland and Belfast is not known for having lots of black people there, is it? Let's be honest. Yeah, why aren't you writing a story about being white and Catholic in Belfast? Why don't you write that about, why are you doing it about black people, black boys? Well, but this is the thing. A lot of white men like to tell black people stories. Rowan is a white man. Yeah, white men have a certain privilege. Yeah, they dominate things. Yeah, we all know they dominate. Yeah, so that's why he has the confidence to do that. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. I'm just reading from the Radio Times about this. He said, and then it says, Ashley Walters didn't know that the Top Boy writer was white. Yeah. So this is the line that the Radio Times have picked up about it. It basically says, this is what Ashley Walters is quoted as saying, when the script came to my table, it was no-brainer because it dealt with serious issues in the low-income communities in London, especially at the time. There was so-called a spite of knife crime and gun crime, and it was so prevalent in the media. It was like the script was talking about why people were doing what they were doing. I didn't know Bennett was white. I don't know what he looks like. So basically, this Bennett guy, Rowan Benett, is basically said he lived in Hackney and he saw a 12-year-old selling drugs, and that prompted him to write the story. Now, this is not the only black story he's told. I think he's got a film out, from what I remember, about Patrice Lumumba. Yeah? What does this white guy know about Patrice Lumumba in the Congo? Once again, so he's very comfortable telling black people's stories. Very comfortable, yeah? And another thing is, him as a white man, he's going to get the funding. It's called white privilege and white man privilege. He's going to get the funding to go and be telling stories about Patrice Lumumba, one of the greatest African freedom fighters that was killed by the CIA, and I can't remember if it was the French. It wasn't just the CIA. I can't remember if it was Britain or something. But anyway, they killed him. Yeah. Um. But yeah, like you feel comfortable to do that. Yeah, you feel comfortable. Yeah. So I really rely, and the only way Black people are going to do this, is we need to step up and tell our own stories. Yeah, we really do need to start doing this. You know what I mean? Because white people only get away with it is because there's not enough of us pushing, and telling our own stories. Now, I'm not talking about um, African countries like I know Nigeria has a huge, like Nigeria after Bollywood is the second biggest filmmaking, and then it's Hollywood after that, and it's Bollywood, then Nollywood, then Hollywood. So, but I'm talking about the Black experience in the West. Yeah, it's really important that Black Europeans, we tell our own stories, so we don't constantly have all these white Europeans trying to tell our story, and then they completely erase racism from the actual fucking story. Yeah. Now, um, I live in like quite a white. Well, essentially the whole of Greater Manchester is white. It's only like I think Greater Manchester only has like is it like 3%? Yeah, 3% Black people in Greater Manchester. Yeah, Greater Manchester is a really white city. Yeah, but I've walked down the streets and been called a nigger. How come I don't see that in whenever these white people write stories about Black people? They never put any racism in the story. Yeah, it's a bullshit. It's a complete whitewash. Yeah. Um. Now, listen to Kanu. He said certain things like that. I came across like a little short video of when he's in the gym and then his gym buddies are asking him, "Why aren't you filming Top Boy?" And he's like, "Oh, fuck Top Boy." And he talks about, I think he had a problem with the writing and stuff. So he talks about the writing and a situation where they wanted him to ring the police in the story, and he really pushed for the writers to change the story to make it more authentic and stuff. So they have a certain amount of control. But talking about Top Boy, I grew up in a rough area of like Moss Side, basically, in the area of Gunchester. So where like what do you call it? Um, is it Summer House? I don't know, whatever area. I've not watched Top Boy for a while anyway. But basically, what I'm basically saying is I grew up in what they call a black area in the UK. Um, but the fact of the matter is, so I know what I'm talking about. Um, but the fact of the matter is, I found Top Boy. It was depressing, but it was like cardboard cut out. Like it's basically what white people think of black people. How they think we experience life in Britain. That you know what I mean. It's not authentic in the sense of where's all the racism. I didn't even know fucking racism, and it was absolute bullshit. I know in Moss Side there was like a 90, I think it was 94% unemployment rate with black youth from 16 to 24. Yeah, how come I didn't see? How come I don't see that reflected in the stories? One of the reasons why black youth are overrepresented in turning in the gangs in places like London is the high unemployment in the black community. How come they don't ever address that in Top Boy? Because it's a white man writing it. It's white people writing it. That is why they're not going to tell you about the unemployment rate in the black community. Yeah, and with the youth, because white people writing it. Yeah, this white man, he don't know nothing about not getting a job. Yeah, man just thinks because he's Irish or Northern Ireland, because obviously Northern Ireland is British anyway, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is, he thinks because he's faced prejudice as a white man, he knows what it is. But there's a difference between prejudice and racism. It's not the same thing. Yeah, it's similar, but it's not the same thing. Yeah, you're still white. Yeah, um, you can hide the fact that you're Irish, but a black person, we can't hide the fact that we're black. Yeah, so that's another thing with Top Boy. It does not talk about. I've watched a lot of the Top Boy. I've not watched every single series, every single episode, but I've watched the majority of it, and it's not reflected. The high unemployment rate in the black community is not reflected in the series. Yeah, because it's written by a white person. Yeah, so that's another thing that I don't like about fucking Top Boy. Yeah, another thing are the girls, the black women in it. They're just cardboard cutouts as well. You got this light skinned sister, you know, and remember, this is not. I'm not talking about the acting of the black people, but the black women, they're kind of like the young black women in it. They're kind of just weak, aren't they? You got this lesbian chick, yeah, and she's just on road. I didn't see any like, you know, I didn't see like, so you don't see any things like black women or teenage girls getting pregnant, having to their boyfriends getting killed, and then or them getting pregnant to the local drug dealer, and then having to, you know, give man clothes and, you know, money in prison. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what a lot happens to a lot of black women. Or black women getting entwined on young black girls and the grooming. I didn't see that in Top Boy. Yeah? It's not authentic. Top Boy is not an authentic black tale. It is what a white man thinks of the black experience in the UK. So that is my problem with it. Yeah? So I don't know if anyone else has watched Top Boy. And I really want to hear from the black people. You know what I mean? If you're white and you want to give your opinion, you can give your opinion. This is freedom of speech. But it's about black people. It's not about white people. I want to hear from black people, but I'm yet to come across a black person that likes Top Boy. All the people that I know that like Top Boy are white people. That's all the white. It's always white people. I'm yet to hear. I don't know any black people that are telling me that Top Boy is a great series. It's so authentic. Blah blah blah. I just found Top Boy in the beginning. It was all right. It was all right, but it's quite depressing. But it's not. It's basically the point of view of a black man or a black boy. You know, it's a different. Even though we're both black, it's a different experience in it being a black young girl growing up in the hood, the ghetto. But yeah, just, do you know what I mean? That's my opinion of Top Boy, innit? And I think also it dragged out. It just went on so freaking long. Like to do like 5 seasons. Fucking hell. Towards the end, it started to get dry. Do you know what I mean? There was a whole drag out thing. Anyway, so people tell me what you think of Top Boy. And laters. Bye bye.